Hi Jackie, how are you?
Not bad yourself.
Not bad, thanks. Thanks for talking to me today. Um, your father was a professional footballer. How did that influence your career as a footballer?
Yeah, it was quite a big influence. Obviously, when I was young, I used to go and watch my dad playing, mostly at Hibs, and at the end of his career at Morton. So, yeah, it was always a ambition of mine to try and follow in his footsteps. Although I do have two brothers, but they weren't as keen in football as what I was.
Would you consider him your biggest mentor?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't one of the dads that would stand at the side of the pitches and you're young and shout and ball or give too much away. It was more like a quiet influence and give you his thoughts and stuff and keep it nice and calm.
He was more supportive than maybe forceful. Like you wanted to do your own thing, he'd
Yeah,
let you do that. Lovely.
yeah.
Did you always consider yourself a right back growing up, or were you maybe further forward? Because
No, I
lots of
started more as a forward, yeah, when I was younger.
yeah.
Like a little striker, then moved to the right wing, and then midfield. It wasn't too. I was playing at Dunfermline under Bert Payton and Dick Campbell that they moved me to right back, and I kind of never looked back from that, and earned my move to Celtic playing there.
Speaking of your move to Celtic, you joined in '95. How did that move come about, and was it difficult leaving Dunfermline after 3-4 years?
Yeah, it was difficult because and I really enjoyed my time there, and it was a great club. The move came about. There was speculation with a few clubs down in England as well that we're looking at as subject to a few bids, but the it was Celtic came in, and then I found out they put a bid in, and Dunfermline wanting a lot more, and then I spoke to the club, and eventually they took a bid. I think it was 650. And plus add-ons for my first Scotland appearance. So I worked out 700,000, which for me was quite a lot of money back then for a team in the Championship as well.
Who are the other teams interested in England?
In England, I was asked to go down. I think at the time it was reported Blackburn to win the league and stuff. Then Arsenal. Another time was Swindon, who were doing quite successful at that point. I think Glenn Hoddle and stuff had been there. And, that was the three that was kind of mentioned. Millwall was another one when Mick McCarthy was there.
So Glenn Hoddle always keen on you, so because he tried to get you involved as well.
Yeah, and he actually, I found out he tried to sign me for Tottenham. I think when I was at Celtic as well before I went to Wolves. So eventually worked with him at Wolverhampton, which was a great experience.
You won Scotland's Young Player of the Year in '96, playing 30 times all competitions. How did it feel to obviously win an award like that after the first year at Celtic as a young lad?
Yeah, it was great, because it was a big jump up, obviously from the Championship to the Scottish Premiership, and then to play like a club like Celtic with the demands as well. And in my first season to win the Young Player of the Year was fantastic. Get a lot of confidence from that. It really helped me settle into the club as well.
Lovely. And then obviously you made your international debut. I mean, how proud are you and your family? I mean, what a moment.
Yeah. I mean that was a great thing as well. My father used to go to all the Tottenham Army games. Used to be in the Tottenham Army supporters club, and they used to go to the matches, and they used to come to my 21s when I played with Scotland 21s as well. So when I got called up to the senior one and got my debut away in Latvia for the World Cup qualifiers, it was just a great feeling, like any kid. What you dream about, playing for your national team, and it was a very proud moment.
So do you reckon Scotland will qualify for the World Cup? Or?
I think we've got a chance. Yeah, I think we're looking good now. Some good. I think we've got a good blend in the squad. A lot of boys playing in top level football. McGinn's, Robertson's, Tierney's. They're all playing at a high level, and the other ones are doing well in European games as well. So, I think the future's really bright for the young talent coming through, which has been much missed.
So your next individual accolade was in 2004 when you won Player of the Year with the SWFA. How did that feel, beating the likes of 40-goal Henrik Larsson and Chris Sutton?
Yeah, I mean, that was just the sports writers. I actually won the PFA Player of the Year in 97, 98 with Gascoigne and Loudrup.
Oh wow!
So I won the young player 95, 96. I won the players player when we stopped Rangers winning 10 in a row in 97, 98. That was a special moment, with guys like Larsson, and Larsson had just came to the country as well, Gascoigne, Loudrup. But then to win it years later, the Martins team, playing different positions, it's hard to put in what's my favourite. The first one when I won it was playing further forward at right midfield under Wim Jansen. Playing against Liverpool, scoring the FA Cup against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin was further back, maybe right back or left back or left centre back that season. It didn't really matter to me where I was playing, but but as you said, there were some fantastic talents in Scotland at the time, the De Boers and guys like that as well, Milky Moles. So very proud of what I've achieved.
Would you say Martin O'Neill was maybe the best manager you played for, or was people like Tommy Dawes a bit?
He's the most successful at my spell in my 10 years at Celtic. Yeah, there's no doubt he was the biggest success we had, and getting to the FA Cup final with him. But I've been very fortunate in my time there. The great Tommy Burns that signed me was a big influence on and off the park for me. Wim Jansen, who stopped Rangers winning 10 in a row. I only had one season with him. So, but I think I've been very fortunate in my 10 years with the people I worked under.
So, with the UEFA Cup run, do you reckon you would have maybe won the final with 11 players?
I think we had more of a chance anyway. I mean, they were a good side, which they showed in the following season. They won the Champions League with Mourinho. They were a good side, but yeah, I did think that was a kind of turning point. We got back into the game. We got a foothold in the match, in extra time, and then Bobo got a second yellow and took us down to 10 men. And they're a good enough side with 11 v 11 in the players they have. But yeah, it wasn't to be. It was just one of these things.
How does it feel, playing an entire European campaign, going home and away across the continent, winning games, then the one that maybe the most important one, you lose. Is that one of the hardest moments maybe in your career, or?
It probably would have been. I mean, personally, I was going through a tough time. I lost my mother not long after the FA Cup final, so my mind wasn't too much on that, and the fallout from losing the match. Had it been any other years, yeah, possibly would have been a lot harder to take from a personal point of view. But I had other things going on in my life at that moment, which overshadowed football.
I'd like to talk about your spell as a manager for a bit. Firstly, was it something you always considered, or was it something that happened at Partick when you were getting older?
I didn't consider it till later on in my career. I done my coaching badges just after I finished at Wolverhampton. I started my B licence, and then the more I was kind of doing it, the more I was seeing things and think, right, I'd like to do this. If I was a manager, I would do that. I would speak to him this way. And you maybe use different things, methods that all the managers you've played under, and take the best things from them. Which I did try to do as a manager, and I had three different jobs. The first two, I think, were going quite well, and then latterly Dundee United was tough. Then York City was tough from day one till I left.
Yeah. Speaking of Dundee United, the squads, the players they had were really impressive. Robertson, Douglas, Shifty, Armstrong. You can go on about it. There's loads of players. Mm-hmm. But was it hard, maybe losing those players to bigger clubs, or like squad?
Yeah, it's difficult, but we knew that going in there. We know in the first 6 months we lost key players. We lost my front two with John Daly, and Johnny Russell went to Derby. And Barry Douglas went to Poland. Willow Flood went to Aberdeen. So, but we lived with it. We got players in. We got Andy Robertson in to replace Barry Douglas for little money. Nadir Chifsia took in trial to try and replace Johnny Russell or John Daly. And it was tough, but we did manage to do that. We brought some young players in. We had some young players in the academy that were coming in, at 16, 17, like I said, John Suter and Ryan Gould, that were fantastic talent. So we kind of played them into the first team. And we were good with a real good spell there, and getting to cup finals. But at any club, like Dundee United or in Scotland in general, it's very difficult to keep them for any length of time, because not just because Dundee United were in a good bit of debt at the time, but also, to try and stop the players developing and going, to where they've got to. Andy going to Hull, then to Liverpool, and what he's done since, and Nadir and Mackay, Stephen Armstrong. Armstrong's now at Southampton, so it's always difficult to keep them for a length of time.
Was it strange maybe seeing Gold not staying in the United Kingdom or Scotland and going to was it Portugal?
Yeah, he went to Sporting Lisbon, signed like a 6-year contract, and he's since left there. He done well last year, and he moved to Canada. He moved to
Canada,
I think Vancouver. Yeah, he's in MLS now, and apparently he's doing very well. But he was an exceptional young talent. Just surprised that he hadn't kicked on at Sporting Lisbon, and get into that first team. But he was a joy to watch and to manage, along with like Sir John Suter as well, who'd been unlucky through injury, who would have been one of the top players as well by this stage. But again, they're still very young. In football terms, John's 25, I think. Ryan's 26 now, so still got a good bit to go.
Yeah, plenty of time left. So with your impressive records at Partick and Dundee, maybe why didn't York City go as well as a manager for staying on?
There's a number of reasons. A number of reasons going down there. I'd obviously great belief in how we done things before, how we trained, how we done things, and and it didn't work for one reason or another. There was a lot of things going on that we couldn't really control, and try to do things in the same manner, in the right manner. But yeah, unfortunately, football's not always what you want it to be. And it was a tough job. There's no getting away from that. It was a tough gig. But I suppose the good thing about going down to York City was my friendship and the bond I had with the owner, who's one of my best friends now. Even though me going down there didn't work out for the way I wanted it, and the way, obviously, more important, the way he wanted it. But we knew we were wanting to try and do the change things and our culture, and it would be too much to ask.
You became the CEO after that, did you? How difficult was that to maybe managing and coaching?
Yeah, it was, to be honest, just as frustrating. It's not something that was in my thought process I want to be a chief exec at a football club. It wasn't. It was more a case when I said to Jason, the chairman, that I was going to be resigning, and he wanted me to stay and help him to get into a new stadium, and because I hadn't really trusted anybody like myself in football, to run the day-to-day things from while his other businesses effectively paying for the football club and keeping it going. So for me, it was a huge honour that he trusted me that way to do that for him, and have the same sort of mindset, to do things. And but it wasn't something that I enjoyed or something that I've always wanted to do. But I done it, to try and help him and the club at that point. But I was relieved when you know, when he put the club up for sale and let me walk away from it.
So, what inspired you to write your book, and what are your plans for the future?
The inspiration in the book is a number of things. I think, you know, obviously what happened to me in February 2020, and you know, I still see people, and they knew I was ill, they knew I was, you know, close to death, but they don't know what happened. Also, you know, people be messaging about their own loved ones, you know, that maybe had similar, you know, aneurysm or a bleed in the brain, to try and help them, you know, because I think when you're in hospital and you're dealing with things and dealing with it and trying to recover, you've got great care and people around you, but when you go home and you're trying to, you know, get back to some kind of normality, it's difficult to know what to do. You know, you do get, with a brain injury, you do get frustrated, you do get angry, you do get, you know, apprehensive with things, and not knowing what you're supposed to feel like or go through. So there was that aspect, and then obviously the football side was to put a few things, you know, across from my opinion and different things throughout my career. Not really to set the record straight, because, you know, it's just my opinion and how I'd seen things and how I went about things. People can make their own mind up on it.